let's review clefs real quick. Our top clef is our treble clef. And again, if we were drawing it, we start on the top line, all the way down, do a little swoop, start back at the top. You're going to the right first, and then come back down, and then you're going to circle around the second line from the bottom. It's a treble clef, and if we spell it obnoxiously, like Miss Davis likes to, T-R-E-B-L-E-C-L-E-F. The bottom line of treble clef is an E. So if the bottom line is an E, if I step up to the next space, it's F. The line above that is G. Now I restart my alphabet. A, E, C, D, E, F. I can keep going higher if I add a ledger line. I call it A. If I go above the ledger line, I call it a B. I can add 2 ledger lines, call it a C, and so on. If I go below my bottom line, I would have a little D there, and then a ledger line, I would call that a C. We'll come back to that in a second. Down here I have my bass clef, spelled B-A-S-S, it looks like the word bass, bass clef. And I can remember that the bottom line of bass clef is a G, because I usually think that my goofy guys are the ones that sing in bass clef. So G is my bottom line. And I know that there's nothing higher than a G as far as my note names are concerned, so I restart at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, ledger line C, keep going, etc., etc. I can go lower than that as well. Here's the thing that I love when my students get this little connection. If I put, and this is going to look really odd because there's so much space in between the two, but if I put one ledger line below my treble clef, which is one ledger line above my bass clef, that's C. And this is a shared C. So this note right here is the C above bass clef, it's the C below treble clef, and this would be referred to as middle C. We've also labeled everything on the keyboard, and so this would be C4, which I always think middle C, big explosion C4. So again, if I came down here, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, etc. Bass clef is also known as F clef because this line that's in between our 2 dots, that line is an F. So bass clef can also be known as F clef. Treble clef is also known as G clef because my swoopy circle here is around the G note. E, F, G. Ta-da! Tenor clef, it looks like a treble clef, and it has a little 8 hanging off of it. So again, I would read it the exact same. My bottom line is still E, but because that 8 is hanging off the bottom, I would drop it the octave.